There is a question most people carry quietly, often without saying it out loud. It does not arrive in moments of success or celebration. It appears in silence. You might feel it late at night, staring at the ceiling when sleep refuses to come, or when you look up at the stars and suddenly feel very small, or in the moment after losing someone you love, when the world keeps moving, but something inside you has stopped. And the question rises on its own: who made all of this? This is not just curiosity. It is not a philosophical hobby or an abstract debate. It is a human response to uncertainty, loss, and fear. When life feels fragile, when control slips through our fingers, the mind reaches for meaning. We want to believe there is a guiding hand, a plan, someone watching over the chaos, because the idea that someone is in control can feel safer than the idea that no one is. From childhood, we are taught that everything comes from somewhere. A house has a builder, a book has an author. So when we face something as vast and mysterious as the universe, the question feels almost automatic. Who created this? If you have ever asked that question, there is nothing wrong with you. You are not weak. You are not lost. You are not failing spiritually. You are being human. Across every culture and every era, people have stood in this same place, holding the same uncertainty, asking the same quiet question. And what matters is not how quickly we answer it, but why it appears at all. In this space, Buddhism does not rush to give you a cosmic explanation. Instead, it invites you to slow down, to listen more carefully to the question itself, because sometimes the question is not about the universe at all. Sometimes it is about the ache in your chest, the fear beneath your thoughts, and the longing to feel less alone in existence. And that is where the real inquiry begins. There is a reason this question feels so natural to us. It is not an accident. It is not a flaw in your thinking. The human mind evolved to look for intention behind events. Long before philosophy or science, this instinct kept our ancestors alive. When grass moved suddenly, the brain did not calmly analyze probabilities. It asked a single urgent question: what caused this? If the answer was wind, you lived. If the answer was a hidden predator, you needed to act fast. This tendency to search for an agent, someone behind the movement, is deeply wired into the brain. Psychologists call it agency detection, and it does not stop working just because we grow older or more educated. It follows us everywhere. We see patterns in coincidence. We sense intention in randomness. And when we face something vast, powerful, and overwhelming like the universe itself, the mind does what it has always done. It looks for a maker. From daily life to cosmic mystery, we carry the same mental habit. A broken cup must have been dropped by someone. A sudden change must have been caused by someone. So when we look at galaxies, time, birth, and death, it feels almost impossible to accept that no single hand is behind it all. This instinct is not foolish. It is protective. It helped humans survive danger, uncertainty, and chaos for thousands of years. But here is the gentle truth. What helps us survive is not always what helps us understand reality. The same mental shortcut that once saved our lives can become a limitation when we apply it to everything, especially to questions that are far larger than immediate survival. Buddhism does not criticize this instinct. It does not shame the mind for working the way it does. Instead, it invites us to see its boundaries, to recognize that just because the mind looks for a creator, it does not mean reality must fit that expectation. And just because a question feels natural, does not mean it leads to clarity. Understanding this is not about abandoning reason. It is about softening our grip on one way of seeing. And in that softening, something new becomes possible. A deeper understanding that does not deny our humanity, but gently expands beyond its earliest instincts. The Buddha understood something deeply human: the tendency to place ourselves at the center of existence. In the Buddhist texts, there is a story about a powerful celestial being who believed himself to be eternal, all-seeing, and the creator of everything beneath him. He had lived so long in a refined realm that he could no longer remember how he arrived there. From his limited perspective, nothing seemed to exist before him. So he concluded, quite sincerely, that he must be the source of all things. When the Buddha encountered this being, he did not argue or ridicule him. There was no confrontation, no attempt to tear down belief. Instead, the Buddha gently pointed out something subtle but transformative. Even this exalted existence depended on causes and conditions: time, memory, karma, forgetting. The being was not evil or arrogant. He was simply seeing from a narrow window shaped by his experience. And from within that window, his conclusion made sense. This is a crucial insight. The Buddha was not attacking the idea of a creator. He was revealing how easily perspective can harden into certainty when we forget the conditions that shaped it. In Buddhism, this applies to everyone: humans, celestial beings, even gods. No existence stands alone. No viewpoint is free from conditions. Every form of life arises within a vast network of causes: biological, psychological, and karmic. This teaching does not deny reverence. It does not mock faith. It simply reminds us that what we see depends on where we stand. And when we recognize that, something softens. We stop needing one final authority at the center of everything. We begin to sense a reality that is interconnected rather than controlled, not ruled from above, but arising together, moment by moment. Modern science has offered humanity extraordinary insight into the universe. It explains how stars form, how galaxies expand, how time and space bend. Models like the Big Bang describe how the universe evolved from an extremely dense and energetic state into the vast cosmos we observe today. These discoveries are powerful. They inspire awe. They expand our understanding. Yet even the most advanced scientific theories stop at certain boundaries. They describe how processes unfold, but they do not resolve the deeper human question: why suffering exists and how we are meant to live with it. Physics can explain the structure of matter. It cannot explain grief. Neuroscience can map brain activity. It cannot tell you how to sit with loss, fear, or longing. Some of the greatest scientific thinkers openly acknowledged this. They recognized that knowledge, while illuminating, does not automatically bring peace. Understanding the mechanics of the universe does not necessarily calm the restless mind. Many people discover this firsthand. They learn more, read more, understand more, yet still feel anxious, uncertain, and alone. Buddhism does not reject science. It respects careful observation and honest inquiry, but it also recognizes a quiet truth. Clarity of information is not the same as clarity of heart. Knowing more does not always mean suffering less. This is not a failure of science. It is simply an acknowledgement of its purpose. Science shows us how the universe functions. Buddhism asks how we suffer within it and how we might be free. And in that distinction, a different kind of wisdom begins to emerge. At a certain point, Buddhism does something unexpected. It does not try to answer the question, who created the universe? Instead, it gently turns the question in a different direction, not outward, but inward. The Buddha understood that some questions, while fascinating, do not lead to freedom. They stimulate the intellect but leave the heart unchanged. So, when people pressed him about the origin of the cosmos, whether the universe is eternal, finite, infinite, or created, he often remained silent. This silence was not ignorance. It was precision. In one well-known teaching, the Buddha compared these cosmic questions to a man struck by a poisoned arrow. The man refuses treatment until he knows who shot the arrow, what kind of wood it was made from, and where it came from. While he searches for answers, the poison spreads, and he dies. The Buddha's point was simple and compassionate. While we debate origins, we are bleeding. Human suffering is immediate. Aging, illness, loss, fear, and confusion are happening right now. And no theory about the universe's beginning will remove that pain. So Buddhism shifts the inquiry. Instead of asking who made everything, it asks, what is happening in this moment? What conditions are giving rise to suffering? And is it possible for suffering to end? This is not avoidance. It is focus. By changing the question, Buddhism changes the path. It stops chasing distant explanations and turns attention to lived experience, thoughts, emotions, cravings, and reactions, because this is where freedom is possible. The real mystery, from this view, is not how the universe began, but why the mind suffers and how it can be released. One of the most challenging ideas in Buddhism is also one of its most liberating. The Buddha taught that there is no single, absolute beginning to existence. The mind resists this immediately. It wants a starting point, a first cause, a clean origin. But Buddhism describes reality as cyclical rather than linear. Birth leads to death. Death leads to rebirth. Formation dissolves, and from dissolution, formation arises again. This cycle does not apply only to human lives. It includes worlds, stars, and entire cosmic systems. Existence is portrayed not as a one-time event, but as an ongoing process arising, fading, and returning. From this perspective, the universe is not a fixed object created once and set in motion. It is a living movement, constantly reshaping itself through conditions. Like waves forming and dissolving in the ocean, worlds appear when conditions are present and disappear when those conditions change. And we are not observers standing outside this process. We are participants within it. Your body is part of this cycle. Your breath, your thoughts, your fears and hopes. Nothing about you exists separately from the universe you are questioning. For many people, this idea initially feels unsettling. No first moment, no central controller. But over time, it can feel deeply relieving. It removes the pressure to find a final answer. It softens the fear of being lost in chaos. Instead of a universe that must be controlled to be meaningful, Buddhism offers a universe that is meaningful because it is interconnected, responsive, and alive. And within that vast movement, your life is not insignificant. It is an expression of the same process that shapes stars, seasons, and time itself. One of the most transformative insights in Buddhism is deceptively simple. Nothing exists on its own. Not a tree, not a storm, not even you. This principle is called dependent origination. It means that everything arises because something else makes it possible. A flower needs soil, water, sunlight, time, and countless unseen conditions. Remove just one, and the flower cannot appear. Your life works the same way. Your body exists because of food, air, gravity, and the care of others. Your emotions arise because of memory, perception, and circumstance. Even your sense of self depends on countless influences: biology, culture, language, and experience. There is no single creator pulling the strings, and there is no isolated thing standing alone. Reality is more like a web than a chain. Touch one strand, and everything responds. This is not just a cosmic idea, it is deeply personal. Suffering also follows this pattern. Pain does not appear out of nowhere. It arises when certain conditions come together. Loss, fear, expectation, attachment, misunderstanding. And here is the quiet hope within this teaching. If suffering arises because of conditions, then suffering can also change when conditions change. Nothing about pain is permanent or fixed. It is not who you are. It is not your destiny. When we see suffering as something created through causes, not as a personal failure, we stop blaming ourselves. We stop feeling cursed or broken. Instead, we begin to ask different questions. What conditions are feeding this pain? What can be softened? What can be released? This shift creates space, and in that space, compassion grows both for ourselves and for others. Dependent origination does not leave us helpless. It shows us that because everything is connected, transformation is always possible. In Buddhism, karma is often misunderstood. It is not fate, it is not punishment, and it is not a system of reward imposed from above. Karma simply means action and the natural results that follow. Every thought, every word, every choice leaves an imprint, not because the universe is judging you, but because actions shape the mind that performs them. When anger is repeated, it becomes familiar. When kindness is practiced, it grows easier. Over time, these patterns shape how the world is experienced. In this way, the universe is not ruled by judgment, but woven by behavior. The life you experience is deeply connected to how you live, not in a moralistic sense, but in a practical one. A mind trained in fear sees danger everywhere. A mind trained in care notices connection. This does not mean suffering is your fault. It means you are not powerless. Karma places responsibility in your hands gently, without threat. It says, your choices matter, not because someone is watching, but because you are shaping the conditions of your own experience. This is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to free you. If the world you experience is influenced by your actions, then change is possible one moment, one choice at a time. At the heart of all these teachings is a simple truth. Freedom does not come from understanding everything. It comes from suffering less. The Buddha compared existence to a dream, not because it is unreal, but because we mistake what binds us for what defines us. Craving keeps the dream going. The constant reaching for certainty, identity, control, and meaning. When craving tightens, the world feels heavy. When craving loosens, something opens. Letting go does not erase the universe. It changes your relationship to it. The stars remain. Life continues. But the grip softens. You no longer need the universe to answer every question in order to feel at peace. You no longer need a final explanation to be okay. Peace does not depend on solving cosmic mysteries. It depends on learning how to rest with experience as it is. And when that happens, even briefly, the mind touches something rare, a quiet, a clarity, a sense of being at home in the midst of change. Not because everything is understood, but because nothing needs to be held so tightly anymore. That is the beginning of waking up. In the end, the most important question may not be, who created the universe? That question can inspire awe, debate, and endless thought, but it often leaves something deeper untouched. The question that quietly shapes a life is simpler and far closer. How will I live with the life I have been given? Every day, regardless of how the universe began, the same realities appear. The body grows older. People we love change or leave. Joy comes and goes. Pain visits without asking permission. No answer about cosmic origins removes these experiences, but how we meet them makes all the difference. Buddhism does not ask you to abandon wonder. It asks you to place wonder where it matters most. In this breath, this moment, this choice. You do not need to solve the universe to live wisely within it. You do not need certainty about creation to practice kindness, clarity, or care. When the mind stops demanding final answers, something softens. The need to be right relaxes. The fear of not knowing loosens its grip. What remains is attention. Attention to how suffering arises. Attention to how it eases. Attention to the quiet spaces between thoughts, where life feels less heavy. This is not a conclusion. It is an invitation. An invitation to watch your own experience gently, to notice what tightens the heart and what opens it, to see, for yourself, whether peace depends on explanation or on understanding. The universe will continue unfolding, with or without our theories. But freedom is discovered here, in how we live, how we respond, and how we let go. And perhaps that is the answer that does not need words.